guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I am so excited to be filming this because we are doing a big Harry Potter Q&A. I know one of my last videos was also a Q&A, but I was randomly asking people questions on my stories the other day after watching Order of the Phoenix. I was just asking what other people's favourite films were and least favourite characters, just because I was interested. And then I was like, why have I not done a Harry Potter Q&A on my channel yet? Because Harry Potter is something I've loved since I was little, but especially at the moment, like since this pandemic has been going on, I've had a lot more time to just, you know, focus on things that I enjoy, that I just, you know, things that I like to watch or whatever. So I've had a lot of time to focus on things like Harry Potter. It's been getting me through. It's been a good distraction watching the Harry Potter films, reading the books. I started reading the books recently. I got them for Christmas. I know, I can't believe it's taken me till now to start reading them. I have no idea why, but anyway, that's not the point. Basically, I've delved even more into the world of Harry Potter since this pandemic, and I thought, let's do a Q&A. And you guys gave me so many good questions. I asked for my questions on my Instagram story. If you don't follow me over there, make sure you do. My username is Esme Hill, and if you follow me over there and keep an eye on my stories, I guess, you'll see for the next time that I ask for Q&A questions or anything like that. But I got so many good questions, and I'm going to answer some of them for you now, but oh my god, the questions I got were so good. I'm so glad I got such a good range of questions. I may end up doing a part 2 to this video because I've got so many questions and I can't answer them all, and I know there's so many more things I could talk about in these videos. So if you enjoy this, let me know if you want a part 2, because I would happily do that for you. I also, on my story, asked for any last minute questions whilst I was getting ready, so there may be some that I throw in at the end. The first question is, what is your favourite scene from your favourite film? So if you didn't know, my favourite film out of the Harry Potter series is actually Chamber of Secrets, which is quite an unpopular opinion. I think a lot of people would say that's one of their least favourites. I just love it for so many reasons. It's just my favourite. I love the originals, like the first few films the most, I think, because they're the most nostalgic, and I love the magic of the older films and when they're young and it's so cute. I love it. Anyway, so that's my favourite film. My favourite scene would either be when we see the Burrow for the first time, because oh my god, I love the Burrow. That is one of my favourite places in the Harry Potter universe. I just love the Burrow. It's so cute and cosy, and I just want to live there. I love it so much. So probably one of them would be when we see the Burrow for the first time, because that's such a special moment, especially because when Harry goes in, he's just absolutely mesmerised by everything. And to Ron and the others in the wizarding world, they're classed as a like quite a poor family, so you know, Ron sort of says, you know, it's not much but it's home, and to him it seems like not a lot, but Harry's just like in awe of it. And I think that's so special for Ron, because he's like, wow, he thinks a house is cool. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, the Burrow itself is just amazing, so seeing it for the first time, I love that scene. And the other one would probably be the Defence Against the Dark Arts lesson with the Gilderoy Lockhart, which I know is really random, but Gilderoy Lockhart is one of my favourite characters ever. Probably, I want to say my favourite Harry Potter character, although Luna has always been a favourite of mine for years and years and years, so I feel like technically she's top favourite. But Gilderoy Lockhart, I absolutely love him, and I know that's such a random choice of favourite characters, but I am obsessed with him. I love him so much, so those two scenes are probably my two favourites. Next question. Similar answer. Favourite teacher at Hogwarts? Again, it's Gilderoy Lockhart, because he's one of my favourite characters ever. And I feel like that's such a weird answer, and I know he's only in the second film, but I just love him. I just love him so much. I don't know what it is. I just think he's great. He's hilarious. I love him. The next question is, list the golden trio in your favourite order. What is your the golden trio in order of favourites? Why did I word that so weird? Harry is probably my least favourite of the three. I do love him as well, but out of those three, he's probably my least favourite. For a while, I've debated which out of Ron and Hermione is my favourite of the two, because I love them so much. I feel like it's probably Ron. He makes me laugh the most, and I just feel like I relate to him a lot. But I do absolutely adore Hermione. But I think if I had to choose, if I absolutely had to choose, I would say Ron, Hermione, Harry. But that's a hard question. A lot of these are hard questions because, you know, I just love everything and it's hard to pick favourites of some things because I just love it all. But probably Ron, Hermione, then Harry. Next question is favourite song. What is this? Why do I keep doing this? Is this a TikTok thing? I don't know. What is your favourite song from the soundtracks? I listen to the soundtracks a lot, especially when I'm reading the books. I just like to be immersed, you know, I like having the music playing in my earphones, in my headphones. I don't know how to speak. Whilst I read the books, just absorbs me in the magic a bit more. I just think the soundtracks are incredible in general. My favourite would probably be Leaving Hogwarts, just because it's so nostalgic to me and also just makes me tear up because I just think it's such a beautiful soundtrack. It just is Harry Potter to me, that song. Of course, the main Harry Potter theme is like the one that reminds you the most of the films, but other than that, this song is just so, I just love it. If you don't know what these songs are, I can't really play them because I will get copyright, so if you want to know what they sound like, then give them a quick Google. That one, but also another one that I love because I just think it's so fun, is Fireworks, which is in the scene where Fred and George go in and set fireworks off whilst a load of the students are doing their owl exams and Umbridge is in there and they're just causing absolute havoc. And yeah, I just think that song is really cool and I just love that scene as well. I've been trying to think of the answers to some of these questions in advance and noting them down in my notes just so, you know, because some of them take a bit more thinking. But this one, I don't know, it's such a good question and I love it. This question is actually from my friend Maggie. She's also a massive Harry Potter fan and she asked, if I had Horcruxes, what items would I use? What a brilliant question. And I don't know, it's really hard. I'm trying to think of things that are like very me, but oh my god, I really don't know. She's like, I'm fully stumped by this question because it's such a brilliant question. Probably a book. I know that Tom Riddle's diary is a Horcrux, so that's kind of, you know, very similar to that, but probably a book would be one of them. I like the idea of having a book as a Horcrux. Oh my god, that's such a hard question. I really sat here and thought about it for ages and I'm still struggling. I might think of something after this video's done, but oh my god, I really can't think. Honestly, Maggie, you've fully stumped me there, but I'm really going to think about this because I would love to answer this question one day. Let me know your guys's, you know, suggestions for that answer, like what you guys would choose for yourselves, because that, although I can't decide, it is a brilliant question. So thank you, Maggie, for that. I'm so sorry I don't have good answers because that's really hard. Next question is, what is your Patronus? I did the Pottermore quiz and it was a very quick fire quiz and I didn't realise it was going to be timed and then I panicked, so I don't know if this definitely would be my Patronus, but we're going to go with it. I got an osprey. I didn't even know what that was when it came up. I was like, what the hell is that? So I googled it and it's some kind of bird of prey, which I would never have chosen as my Patronus or never would have thought that was my Patronus. I always thought mine would be something similar to like Luna's, like a hare or a rabbit or something. Never thought about an osprey or a bird. I don't know, but that's what Pottermore says, so you gotta listen to what Pottermore says. But I guess that's it. This part I love. My friend Franny sent me a load of Snog, Marry, Avoid questions for this. So she sent me, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different Snog, Marry, Avoid questions. First one is Snape, Dumbledore and Hagrid. And I have thought about these answers in advance. It's so weird to say it. I think I'd snog Snape. Never thought I'd be saying that sentence. Marry Hagrid because I just think that would be so cute, marrying Hagrid and living in that cute little hut. And probably avoid Dumbledore. Soz Dumbledore. Next one is Hermione, Ginny and Cho. So I'd probably snog Cho, although she's one of my least favourite characters. You know, she's quite pretty. I do think she's a bit of a stunner. But yeah, I guess snog Cho, marry Hermione because I adore her, and avoid Ginny. I was trying to choose between snog and avoid with Ginny and Cho. I couldn't decide which one to put where, but probably snog Cho. I don't know. Next one is Voldemort, Lucius and Draco. I think we'd snog Lucius, then marry his son. Interesting, weird vibe, but I would want to marry Draco because, I mean, have you seen him? Yeah, and then avoid Voldemort. Avoid Voldemort. I don't want to snog or marry him, so. Next one, Bellatrix, Minerva and Molly Weasley. Oh, can I just marry them all, please? Can I marry all three? Is that an option? No? Alright. Okay, so I'd probably snog Bellatrix because she's an absolute spice and I love her. I love Helena Bonham Carter. Marry Molly Weasley. Again, I'd get to live in the borough and she's an absolute queen. And avoid Minerva. Oh, I love McGonagall so much, she's so lovely. But yeah, I think that'd be it. And the last one is probably the hardest one because they are three of my absolute favourites. We have Ron, Luna and Neville. I love them so much. But I did sit down and have a think about this and I have decided. So I've chosen to snog Ron because, you know, it's Ron. Marry Luna, she's my fave, love her. And then avoid Neville. But I just love Neville because he's so cute and I just feel like he needs a hug. I just want to give him a hug. Can it be snog, marry, hug instead? Is that not an option? No? Next question is favourite quote or line from the Harry Potter series. And as you can imagine, I couldn't pick just one. So I have a big list here. And there was one I thought of earlier to write down, but I've forgotten it already. So that's good. There's going to be plenty that I don't mention here because I meant to pick just one, but I couldn't pick just one. And these are just a few of the ones I wanted to talk about, but I'm not going to sit here and speak about every single quote from Harry Potter because, you know, that would take a long time. My favourite quote in terms of like a really deep, meaningful quote, you know, would be, "It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live" by Albus Dumbledore.
It does not do to dwell on dreams, Harry, and forget to live.
Every time he says that line, I'm just like, it gets me right in the feels. I just think that's such an important quote to live by as well. Like a motivational quote. So if we're talking that sense of favourite quotes, then that would be it. Then there's some that I just like because they're funny or they're just like a very powerful moment, you know, that I thought I'd mention as well because why not? One that I find hilarious is when Hermione says to Ron, "Just because you've got the emotional range of a teaspoon."
Just because you've got the emotional range of a teaspoon.
Then the next one is one where I'm like, ooh, boom, that is just a powerful moment. It is Draco in Half-Blood Prince. I mean, Draco in Half-Blood Prince, that's it, that's the tweet. Wow. But in the scene where they get to Hogwarts and he's still on the train and he's spotted Harry, you know, and he's sorting him out, you know. God, I love it. That part is one of my favourite Harry Potter moments. And it's really random, but I just think it's so powerful and I really fancy Draco in the last few films, so yeah, this helps add to that. When he's stood at the door and he turns around and he's like, "Didn't Mommy ever tell you not to eavesdrop, Potter?" "Oh yeah, she was dead before you could wipe the drool off your chin." I'm like, ooh! Not that I am... Of course I love Harry and, you know, it's a bit of a savage quote, but I just love it.
Didn't Mummy ever tell you it was rude to eavesdrop, Potter? But you just don't tell us! Oh yeah. She was dead before you could wipe the drool off your chin.
He needs some milk!
So powerful, and I feel like that's Draco's finest moment. You could say it's not his finest moment because he's being an absolute word that's probably too inappropriate to say on this channel as young people watch, but you know, he's been a bit of an arsehole, but I just think it's like his most powerful bit. Like thinking about it now, I'm just like, oh my god, it's my favourite, I love it. That actually might be my favourite quote. Talking through these, this is the one that's making me feel the most like, oh my god. So maybe it's that one. I just love it, and I know it's really random, but I just think it's just brilliant. Anyway, I'll just go through a few of the others I wrote down, because this video is going to take forever. I just want to talk about Harry Potter 24/7, please. Another one I wrote is by Arthur Weasley, which is, what exactly is the function of a rubber duck?
You must know all about muggles. Tell me, what exactly
is the function of a rubber duck.
Don't need to explain that one. It's just hilarious. Just him being fascinated by Muggle objects and the Muggle world is just the cutest thing ever. Another one from Draco Malfoy is when they're playing Quidditch and Harry is obviously dodging the bludger because it's following him everywhere, and Draco's like, "Training for the ballet, Potter!" Brilliant line, brilliant line.
Training for the ballet, Potter!
Another one of my favourites is when Hermione says to Harry, "Hey, she's only interested in you because she thinks you're the chosen one," and then he's like, "But I am the chosen one."
Hey, she's only interested in you because she thinks you're the chosen one.
But I am the chosen one. Okay, sorry.
I love that. I love his like sass in that. I just think it's brilliant. Just in general, The Half-Blood Prince, I would say, is the funniest film out of all of them. I just think that has got so many hilarious moments. When I said that I was talking about Harry Potter on my Instagram story, when I decided, oh, maybe I should do a Q&A, I listed my favourite Harry Potter films in order. I think I finally decided, although it changes all the time. It's already changed since then. I would now put Half-Blood Prince higher up. I watched it again the other night, and I watched them all the time anyway, but whilst it was fresh in my mind, I was watching it again and I felt like I appreciated it so much more than usual the last time I watched it. So I feel like that would be higher up on my list now. It's just hilarious. Like Ron, you know, when he eats those chocolates and then he's absolutely off his face. It's just hilarious, and he's like, "Hello darling, fancy a drink?" That's hilarious. I just love that film. I just love it. See, I've gone off on one because I'm talking about Harry Potter and I'm getting too passionate. But that is me. And then lastly, this is the last one I'm going to mention, and there are so many more I could talk about, but I've tried to stop myself from talking about any more. I've already said too many. But last one, again, a bit of an emotional one, makes me tear up every time, is at the end of the first film when they're getting on the Hogwarts Express to leave Hogwarts, and I think it's Hermione says, "Oh, it'll be sad to be going home," and then Harry's like, "I'm not going home, not really." Because Hogwarts is your home.
Feels strange to be going home, doesn't it? I'm not going home. Not really.
I love that quote. It's so cute. Oh, I just want to cry now. So overall, emotional, you know, deep quote-wise, it'd be Dumbledore's quote, "Does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live." Powerful moment, that Draco quote from Half-Blood Prince on the train. Oh, I've got something in my eye. Next question is, what is your favourite theory? What is your favourite Harry Potter theory? Which, straight away, one came to mind that I saw recently. I mean, it wasn't that recent, it was a little while ago, but I just think it makes sense and I just love it. It's the whole idea of whenever someone is in possession of a Horcrux, it affects their mood, you know, it makes them maybe a bad person, it affects the way they act, you know, that sort of vibe. And there's this theory like that's why the Dursleys are such awful people, because they've been living with the Horcrux, because, you know, Harry, you know. I mean, I feel like they'd probably just be not great people in general, but you can tell like the way Petunia talks about when Hagrid's there, the way she talks about Lily, I feel like she will have always been that sort of awful person. But I think that is a good theory, that maybe that made them worse because they were living with a Horcrux. I don't know, I just thought that was a good way to look at things. Next question, what class do you think you would apply for? One that fascinates me the most, and I don't know what it is, it just really fascinates me, is Defense Against the Dark Arts. Also charms, you know, just learning the spells. I would want to be like spot on with all those spells. I'd want to be really good at them and be able to do like every spell. You know, I feel like that's just a good one to do because it is one of the most important ones, I would say. So it'd probably be, if I could only choose one, I guess it'd be charms, because I feel like that is the one that would make most sense. But then also Defense Against the Dark Arts, and also Care of Magical Creatures would be a fun one to do because that'd be cute. The next question is, who would be your ideal romantic partner in the films? I mean, as you can probably tell, I have a bit of a soft spot for Fred Weasley, and you know, me and Fred in the burrow, just be a cute little moment. I don't know, I vibe with it. I love Fred Weasley, but realistically, like, if we're talking about who I think I would be most suited to, and I think I would end up matching with, like, the one that would probably end up happening, is probably Ron. Fun fact, me and my friend Franny actually were on FaceTime a while back, and we just randomly started doing loads of BuzzFeed quizzes together, like Harry Potter ones, and we did loads of who is your soulmate ones, like there was different versions of it, like ones with different questions, you know, just ones people had made. These were all on BuzzFeed. And we did, I don't know, like probably like 4 or 5 different quizzes that were called Who is Your Harry Potter Soulmate, and they were all different. And for every single one I got wrong. So I feel like that kind of gives me the impression that he would probably be the one I'd end up with if I were to end up with anyone. Also, probably along those lines would be someone like Neville. I feel like, you know, it's just that would be one of the ones that would end up happening. But I think overall, I think Ron would probably be the one most suited to me. Also, imagine being with Hermione, because she's a big nerd like me and we could just read all the time together, which is really a really random thing to say. I feel like, again, Hermione, she's very clever though, and I'm not as clever as her, so that would be interesting. And then of course, you know, be nice to have a bit of Draco as well, wouldn't it? The next question is, if you could interview anyone from Harry Potter, who would it be and why? So I don't know if this meant just like a character, like as if I was interviewing a character, or if I was interviewing the actor or actress. I feel like character, oh, it's hard. Oh, I don't know. This is one again that I put some thought into it, but I still haven't come to a solid decision. I think it'd be as a character, I think it'd be really interesting to interview Draco, to try and get in his head a bit, because to start off with, he's this kid who's just not nice, you know, that's one way to put it. He's not nice, and obviously the way he speaks to people, the way he treats Hermione, and obviously a lot of that comes from his family, and it'd be really cool to get into his head and talk about his upbringing and if that's why he's the way he is. And then, because when you get through the films more, you kind of see the more vulnerable side of him, so I think it'd be really interesting to interview him as a character. But if we're talking like the actors, I feel like obviously an obvious one would be Daniel Radcliffe, because he's the chosen one, you know, he's the main guy. You want to get in there and get all those questions. But also Ivana Lynch, she played Luna Lovegood, if you didn't know. I watched her podcast recently with the Phelps twins, Fred and George, and that was really interesting to watch, because she started off as like an absolute #1 fan of Harry Potter before she was in the films. She was like obsessed with them when she was younger. That's just such a cool thing, to go from being such a huge fan to being in the films. And although I've seen a lot of what she says about it in that podcast, it would just be interesting to interview her as an actress, because like how far she's come from that. Like that is every fangirl's dream, isn't it, really? Going from being a #1 fan to getting to be a part of it. Like she even said it was just really strange going from like being absolutely obsessed with these people and knowing everything about them to actually working alongside them, and she had to kind of like play it cool. And she said it was hard to socialise because she felt like she knew everything about these people but they didn't know her. So I feel like that would be a really weird situation to be in. But yeah, she'd be really interesting to interview for that reason alone. Never mind the fact that she's just a really cool person. Next question is, what are your opinions on Harry Potter at Universal? So the rides, the theming, the shops, all of that jazz. So I actually went in 2018 to Universal for the day. I went to Universal Studios in Hollywood. We did this amazing trip in America. We started off in LA, we did Universal, we went to Anaheim and Disneyland California, and then went to the Grand Canyon, a few different places, but that's not the point. Basically, we went to Universal Studios for the day, so we got to see the Harry Potter section there. It's different to the one in Orlando. The one in Orlando's got more, I think, because you can get on Hogwarts Express, you can go to Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade. In Hollywood, you have Hogsmeade, and that's like their Harry Potter section. Oh wow. It is incredible. Like, Universal in general is one of the most amazing places I've ever been to. I've always wanted to go, and I'd love to go to the one in Orlando as well, because there's so much more there as well. And I just want to go back to Hollywood again and do that one again, because it was brilliant. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it, because I was a bit of a wreck when we went, and we were queuing up for one of the rides, and they were showing a projection of Harry, Ron and Hermione, and I absolutely bawled my eyes out at it. I'm a bit of a mess. This is my issue. I'm like obsessed. Even if you're not like a #1 super fan of Harry Potter, even if you just, you know, you appreciate it, the atmosphere is so good. I love the shops, The rides are really good. The Flight of the Hippogriff one, was very short. We went on it and it was over like that, but it was still good. But I think there was only a couple of rides. I can't remember. This whole holiday was such a blur because it was so surreal. But one of the rides we went on was the, oh, what's it called? Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey? Have I made that up? That sounds right. That ride is incredible. Oh my god, it's so good. Just the whole place. I have no words. I love it. I think it's really well done. Of course we have Universal Studios. No, we don't. Of course we have the Warner Brothers Studio tour in London, which shows you a lot of the Harry Potter set, and it's all like the genuine stuff that was used. So having that close by is special in itself. But still, getting to go to Universal was so good because of course you've got the rides, and yeah, it's literally like being at Hogsmeade. I cannot even tell you. It's literally like being at Hogsmeade. It's so realistic. Like the theming in Universal in general with all the other areas is so spot on. They really make you feel like you're actually there, like in these different films. Like the way the sections blend as well, because you go there and then all of a sudden you go and you're in the Despicable Me area, and I love Despicable Me. I know I'm a bit of a child, but I love those films. And that section is so realistic. They even have the little fun fair kind of area that's in the films. I can't explain it. Like the theming of Universal in general is out of this world. Like in a way, the way they do the theming and make you feel like you're in the film, in a specific film, or you know what I mean. The way they make you feel like you're in Hogsmeade, or you're in Despicable Me, or you're in, what's it called? Springfields. It makes you feel like you're actually there. I actually think in a way some of their theming is better than Disney's. Like it's better than Disney. Oh my god, did I already just say that? Don't get me wrong, Disneyland and I was going to say Disney World. I've never actually been to Disney World. Disneyland is like my favourite place. Like the Disney parks are my favourites. Don't get me wrong, like, you know, my love for Disney is, you know. But Universal, they do some theming that's like, whoa. Next question is, if you weren't in Ravenclaw, which house would you be in? If you didn't know, I'm a Ravenclaw. However, it's really funny because when I was growing up and stuff, I always just assumed I'd be in Gryffindor. I think because, you know, it's the house you know the most about. It's where like all the main characters are, and you just always think I'd probably be a Gryffindor, and I always thought that before I knew more about it. So I did the Pottermore quiz years ago and I got Ravenclaw, and I was very surprised. Now looking back at it, and now, you know, now I know more about each house, I don't know why it was a shock, because I am such a Ravenclaw, because I love learning new things. Although I'm not super brainy, like I didn't get top grades, I'm not really smart, I love learning new things, and I'm very much that side of a Ravenclaw. I'm a bit of a nerd, basically. A bit of a nerd is an understatement. I also did a quiz which has got all the questions from the Pottermore quiz in, and it actually tells you what percentage of each house you are, so you know what would your second house be, and you know what house you'd least likely be in. Well, another shocker, the other house that followed very closely to Ravenclaw is Slytherin. I know. Again, was very surprised, but then thought about it, and it does make sense. Not because I'm evil, you know, not all Slytherins are bad. I don't believe that all Slytherins are bad. I know, like, they say, like, there wasn't a bad witch or wizard that didn't come from Slytherin, but I don't think all Slytherins are bad. I see it as the side of me that's, like, very determined and goes above and beyond to get the things they want, you know, like I'm very passionate towards things. Like if I want something, I will go for it and I will keep going until I've got there. I feel like the determination part is a very big part of being a Slytherin, and learning more about the different houses, it does make sense to me. So I feel like in reality I'm more of like a Slytherclaw slash a Raverin. Maybe not just a Ravenclaw, because they're so close, and again it just makes sense to me now. And then Gryffindor was after that, and Hufflepuff was like a tiny percentage at the end. Like I'm the least likely to be Hufflepuff. If you had asked me like to guess, like years and years ago, like say 5 years ago, if you'd asked me to guess which I'd be the most likely to be in versus the least, I probably would have said Gryffindor, then Hufflepuff, then Did I just say Hufflepuff? I think I did. Gryffindor, then Hufflepuff, then Ravenclaw, then Slytherin. That's what I probably would have said before I knew much about it, because automatically I would have gone, oh god, no, not a Slytherin, I'm not like evil. But that's not all that there is to a Slytherin. Now it's like the complete opposite way around, and it actually makes sense to me. So yeah, if I wasn't a Ravenclaw, I'd be a Slytherin. They're almost on par, pretty much, and I'm not mad about it. My younger self, I would not have been happy with that result. I would not have been wanting to be a Slytherin, but now I like it. I like Slytherin. I think it's a cool house, you know, it's cool. Slytherin's pretty cool. There's a lot of evil Slytherins, of course, but it's also a pretty cool house, so I'm not mad about it. I was surprised, but not so much anymore. Then I have one more question that I got like at the start of asking for all these questions, like the first time I asked for some questions. But before I answer that one, because I want to leave that one as the last question, I'm going to go through and have a look at some of the last minute questions I got and see if there's any I could answer. I've had so many questions, so I'm so sorry if I've missed any questions out. I definitely will do a part 2. This is the most questions I've ever had for a Q&A. So you guys must want to hear more about Harry Potter, which, let me tell you, that makes me very happy. So, a few of the ones in that list were some of the last minute questions that I'd added in before starting the video, but since filming I've had some more. So, let's have a look. General thoughts on how they finished the last 2 movies. I should probably swap my batteries over before I continue. So sorry if the angle's changed. Like I said, I'm still getting through the books. I'm only on Chamber of Secrets at the moment, but I do know how the last one ends. Like, again, spoiler alert, if you are new to the Harry Potter world, you know, and you might want to start watching them, you don't want any spoilers, then skip ahead like 10 seconds or something. But I know in the books that Harry dies, and in the films he doesn't, which I think is interesting. And again, I feel like I need to read the books until I decide if that was a good decision in the films or not. I think it is nice that they kept him alive in the films, especially for like, I suppose for like younger people. It makes them feel a bit better, like Harry Potter, the main guy, is not dead. It's fine. But I don't know, maybe they should have kept that more true to the books. I don't know, I still need to read the books. If that's not a true fact, then I've been completely lied to, but I'm pretty sure that's what happens. If we're just talking about the films, because I can't really judge them compared to the books yet, but I think it was good how it wasn't all just happy and bright sunshines and rainbows. Like, it was good to see those darker moments, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm not very good at explaining these sort of things. One thing that I feel was extremely unnecessary, and one thing I do not agree with, I mean, I know you're gonna say that if it's one of your favourite characters, but genuinely I'm like, why did they do that? You know what I'm gonna say? I mean, we don't like to talk about it in this house because we like to pretend it doesn't happen and that it never happened. And when I say we, I mean me. I like to pretend that never happened. You know what I'm talking about. I don't like to think about the fact that this lovely man here, I'm not even going to say it because it's not real, okay? I just think that that was a bit much, especially thinking about how George must feel, and I mean, of course, his whole family, but it's his twin. I think it was in an interview or something, I remember seeing somewhere not that long ago that George said it was really hard to film that bit because it was, he imagined what it would feel like to actually lose his twin, because of course they're twins in real life, and he said it was really hard, and that, oh my god. And obviously it felt a bit, it started to feel a bit too real because like that's actually his twin. I mean, I get why they killed a load of people off, you know, because the Battle of Hogwarts is a big thing. A lot of people are going to suffer and a lot of people are going to get killed. Why, Fred? Why? I had a question about whether I prefer the books or the films as well, and like I said, I can't judge that too much because I'm still only on book 2. I'm such a fake fan. Look, I used to read all the time when I was little. I never got around to reading Harry Potter books. Harry Potter book. I think I read some of the first one, but I didn't really read much of it, because then as I got a bit older I stopped reading as much, and then I went through a phase of like not reading at all, and it's only been in the last couple of years that I've properly gotten back into reading again. So I know I'm such a fake fan, but I've been obsessed with the films for so long, you know, it doesn't matter. There's no such thing as a fake fan. It doesn't matter if you've not read all the books or not seen all the films. If you're a fan, you're a fan. But basically I became obsessed with all the films, and that was where my love for it grew, and I started expanding into more things, including the books. So I'm working on it. So far I love the fact that obviously there's more to the books that isn't in the films. So it is nice, after watching the films for so long, going to the books now and reading them for the first time, and seeing all these extra things that I've not seen before, that I've not read before, like new things that are happening. I'm like, it's like little bonus sections. I mean, I know they were there before the films, but for someone who watched the films first, it's nice to see those little extra things. People always say as well that they wish they could read the books again for the first time, and now I'm getting to do it at an age where I feel like I'll appreciate it more because I'm older, even though I'm only just reading them now. It's fine. And then the last question that I have is thoughts on the next Harry Potter project. So I actually don't know too much about it. I have heard that there's talks of them making a Harry Potter series, and apparently Daniel Radcliffe spoke about it, saying that he thinks it'll be good. I don't know, I'm assuming it'll be all new characters and all new actresses and actors. I don't know what the storyline's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be years after. I don't know if it's going to involve any of the original characters, if it's going to be something different. I have no idea. I'm probably going to look into it some more. You're probably watching this, if you know more about it, being like, how does she only know so much? I don't know if there's a lot more information that I don't know, but I'm assuming this is what you mean because this is something I heard about recently. I'm intrigued. I mean, I don't know how it's going to go. It could be amazing, it could be terrible, but I am looking forward to what may come of it because I think it'll be interesting, and for someone who just is in love with the whole idea of the wizarding world, not just Harry Potter itself, if that makes sense. Of course it's never going to be the same as the original Harry Potter films and books, like it's never going to be the same, but I don't know if it's going to overdo it a bit and if they should just leave it where it is, you know? Because obviously having the Fantastic Beasts films come out after the Harry Potter films was amazing. A good idea, like to see what's happening afterwards or what's happened more recently in the wizarding world in that sort of story. I don't know what it's going to be like. I don't know if J.K. Rowling's written anything for it. I mean, that's a whole other thing I could talk about, is her, but I don't really want to talk about her, which is really awkward because, you know, you can support a story, you can love the story of things, you can love the characters of things without loving the writer. Because if you don't know, J.K. Rowling is, I'm not going to go into it too much right now, but she's very transphobic. She's disappointed me and many other Harry Potter fans greatly recently. She made it very clear that she is very transphobic and a lot of other things. I don't want to support her, but I love the stories. I love Harry Potter. It's absolutely brilliant. It's my favourite thing in the world, and when it is something you just are so in love with and it's just, you know, basically Harry Potter is part of my personality at this point, it's quite hard hitting when it's like, well, what do I do now? I know there's been people who have shamed people for still being fans of Harry Potter from it, but again, you've just got to look at Harry Potter and, you know, the wizarding world as something separate. I know it's not separate from the writer, but you're still allowed to love the Harry Potter universe whilst also acknowledging the fact that the writer and the creator of Harry Potter is a bit of an arsehole. So, as you can probably tell, it's many hours since this video was filmed. I realised randomly, whilst I was in the middle of eating my dinner, the thought just popped into my head. I said there was a question that I had that I wanted to save till the end, so I went to the last minute questions on Instagram and then was like, I'm gonna come back to it, and I forgot to come back to it. So I really wanted to answer it because there was a reason I left it to the end. So here we are. The question was, what has the Harry Potter series done for you emotionally? Something along those lines. So I felt like this was a good one to end on, so that's why I saved it and then forgot to go back and answer it. So obviously, you know, just in general, Harry Potter's a lot of fun. It's a fun little thing to enjoy. The films are great, the books are great, all of that jazz. It's nice and it's fun. And you know, we enjoy it, whatever. But not only that, it has genuinely helped me through so much during this lockdown. This lockdown? All the lockdowns. During this pandemic. So hard to explain without it sounding really cheesy and really cringe, but it's just the way it is. With everything going on, we've all been looking for distractions. Whether that be starting a new hobby or watching a new series, whatever it may be, to keep our minds busy and occupied. And for me, Harry Potter has been just that. And I know that I've always loved Harry Potter. It isn't something that I've discovered in the pandemic, you know. I just think my love for it has grown. I think it all started with Harry Potter TikTok, when that appeared, like Draco TikTok. If you were there, you were there. I feel like you were either in the middle of it all, in the midst of everything, or you just have no idea what I'm talking about. But yeah, that happened. It became a big thing over TikTok during the lockdowns and during the pandemic. Made me fall in love with it even more, and I started rewatching them loads again. Like, I always watch them, like I never stopped watching it as much or stopped enjoying it, but I think now I've found a newfound love for it, and the fact that it's gotten me through so much during this pandemic, because it's been the best distraction ever. I've literally just watched the films or read the books or watched the TikToks of them or whatever, and I've got myself fully immersed in that little universe, and it's just been such a good distraction, and it has genuinely lifted my mood so many times. I know if I'm having a bad day, I'm like, you know what, tonight I'm going to read my Harry Potter book, or tonight I'm going to just, I don't know, look at some Harry Potter related stuff, whether it's a film, the books, or this website that I've been talking about in other vlogs where you can read classes that are Hogwarts classes. I'm not making any sense. Basically, just anything Harry Potter related has been like my saviour. And it's really cheesy, but I know that if I'm having a bad day, that'll like lift me up again, and then I just get sucked into this little world, and it puts me in a good mood again because I just love it so much. So genuinely, I can never explain it properly, so it won't come across on camera, I know it won't, but it genuinely has done so much for me. Just in general, I just, like, at this point, Harry Potter is just my personality now, you know what I mean? It's just a part of me. I've just taken it to the next level. But you know what? I've been so embarrassed about my obsession for these films and this whole franchise. But then I'm like, look, it's bringing me joy, like so much joy, and it's getting me through, so who cares? Everyone's got their own little thing that's their like distraction or their comfort thing, like their comfort TV show. This is it for me and beyond. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just helped me a lot. Like, it's really helped me. It's been nice to have something that brings me so much joy in such a rubbish time where there's nothing else to do and there's nothing else that I can go out and do. I can't go to work, I can't do anything, I can't see my friends and family. So having my own little bubble and watching Harry Potter and listening to the soundtracks and reading the books, it's helped me a lot. I'm not good with words, so I haven't explained it very well, and I don't think I'll ever portray how much it actually means to me in general, and also over this pandemic. I'll never be able to portray that properly, so there's that. That's the reason I wanted to leave it till last, because all like jokes aside and all of the fun just like little parts aside, on a serious note, the smallest things, like these little things have been getting me through. Just thinking about this blooming crazy universe that I'm so obsessed with. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but it's really helped me a lot. And it just baffles me that it's been so long since the franchise, like the films and everything, ended. Like, there hasn't been any new films for, obviously there's been the Fantastic Beasts films, but just the Harry Potter world in general, it's still at an absolute peak. Like, people are still obsessing over it like me now. And it's been so long. I just think that's amazing. Like, I know there's so many things that people will love for so long, but like Harry Potter, it's like, especially, it's like over the pandemic, everyone's love for it's just grown. I think everyone's just needed it. I think that's what it is. I think everyone's just needed the Harry Potter franchise to save them during this pandemic, to keep them going. So I think that's why it's like, feels like it's booming again. Because like I said, I've always loved it, but I feel like recently it's just all I think about pretty much. Like, it's basically my distraction, and I just feel like more people are talking about it again. I don't know. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but yeah. Basically, long story short, this video is already too long. It's helped me through a ridiculous amount, and emotionally it has cured me of many sorrows. So I'm gonna let you get back to the outro of this video, and I do apologise that I'm filming it in this angle and not in the correct time. What am I saying? But there you go. Hope you enjoyed. Basically, I bloody love it, and it's saved me. Okay, that's that. Looks like I'm gonna have to do a part 2 because you guys had so many questions for me, and there were so many really good questions as well. We had some of, you know, the more simple questions, which I love to answer, just general things, favourites that I like about Harry Potter. Also having some of the more obscure questions. Again, Maggie, I really wish I had better answers for what my Horcruxes would be. Probably like a teddy bear or something as well. That'd be cute, maybe. But that'd be very easy to destroy, so if someone was trying to kill me, they'd very easily destroy a teddy bear, wouldn't they? Probably not the best idea. I don't know. But again, let me know your thoughts, what your Horcruxes would be, if you have any good ideas for items that would be your Horcruxes, because that is a brilliant question but so hard to answer. I'm going to leave it here. This is probably still quite a long video. I just love talking about Harry Potter, and I'm so glad that you guys were all for me making this video. So many people vote yes on my poll when I asked if you guys wanted me to do a Harry Potter Q&A. A lot of people voted on it. This whole video has had the best response I've ever had for filming a video. When I asked if people wanted to see it and questions, it's had the best response, and that, I can't even tell you, when something you love so much makes other people happy too, like other people want to see you talking about it, that's brilliant. Like my gaming videos, I've been loving doing that, although they don't get many views, I'm still enjoying it. Whereas this, people were fully, this still might not get many views, but a lot of people wanted to see it, and that's amazing. We will talk about Harry Potter all day, every day. Trust me, I never get tired of it. But there you go. We're going to wrap this up because this is a long video, but let me know if you enjoyed this, and do let me know if you want me to answer some more questions. Maybe leave some more questions for me down below, and I can jot them down for a future Q&A. Or let me know any general Harry Potter themed videos you want to see. There's all sorts I could do. Obviously, you can imagine I watch Cherry Wallace. She's brilliant. She makes all sorts of Harry Potter videos. Let me know if you want to see more Harry Potter videos from me. I promise I'll make non-Harry Potter videos as well. But yeah, let me know. I've really enjoyed filming this, and I'm so excited about it, and I'm so glad that I can't believe I only thought of it recently. Why did I not think till now to make this video? But anyway, give it a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!